Hey, so this is self-managing versus hiring a property manager. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. And when I talk about actual property managers, I do mean professional property managers. So this means that the property manager is licensed, that they at least have between 5 and 7 years experience in the area of property management that they're doing. So some property managers may be good at renting out houses and managing them. Some may be better at apartments. Some property managers are very good at long-term rentals. Some are very good at short-term rentals. With our management company, we do something called pad split, where we actually rent out individual rooms, and that requires a different level of expertise with the actual property manager. So self-managing versus hiring a property manager, pros and cons. One of the first things you want to do is compare the actual difference between the two. That's going to include the cost of doing it, the time involved, legal risk, and in our scenario, Jacksonville-specific tips. So self-managing, I'm going to go down to the quick comparison chart here because it makes it easier. So on the cost side of things, self-management, of course, there's no management fee, but there are some personal expenses involved. You might have to gas your car up. Some landlords that have properties will put for rent signs out, lock boxes. There's a lot of things that add up really quick. Hiring a property manager here in North Florida is going to be between 8 and 12% of the monthly rent. So if the rent is $1,000 a month, then you're going to pay around $80 to maybe up to $120. It does depend on the area, the condition of the home, and how much work is involved in managing the actual tenant. One of the things I can say after doing this for a long time is that properties that are in a little rougher neighborhoods do require a little more work. On the flip side of that, actually what we call Class A properties that are in more expensive neighborhoods can sometimes have a little more property management needed to answer questions and just make sure the place is up to snuff for those more high-end clientele type tenants. So our management company does both on both sides. We have the lower stuff, we have the higher stuff. Most of our stuff's right in the middle, and our average fee is around 10%. So the other thing with self-managing is time commitment. It's high, you handle everything. So that means all those late night phone calls. That means anytime something breaks, you have to get with a vendor and get it fixed. On the hiring of a property manager, that's going to be pretty low. We have a threshold of between $300 and $500 per property. And what that means is it's a repaired threshold. So what that means is that if you have just a small little leak underneath a sink or something like that, you don't have to worry about it. We'll put the money, you'll have the money in the account, we'll call the actual plumber, we'll get out there and we'll fix the repair, and then you'll just get a bill that month. So you don't really have to worry about it. So it's low. The property manager is going to take care of most of your daily tasks. Now, if it's a big repair, you're probably going to want a phone call, like if the roof fails or the AC goes out, or you have a big electrical thing, or like a full replumb. You're more than likely going to want the property manager to contact you, go out and get multiple bids on it, and let you know what that big repair is going to cost. So legal compliance matters. You must stay updated on Florida laws. This is something I talk about in some of my other videos. Just look in the featured videos there, or click the next button and look at the next video, because we're constantly paying attention to what's going on with the laws in Florida. You see on the news that tenants are getting evicted. There's roaches in properties. You'll have the local news station come out a lot. So it's a time between landlords and tenants that it's a very sensitive subject, and it's very important that you understand Florida law. So on the property management side of things, the manager, of course, is going to ensure that compliance. If you're self-managing, then you're going to need to know that legal compliance. When it comes to repairs, you coordinate everything. You're going to go out and shop for the best vendors. Hopefully you can get some good deals and get some good prices on that. When it comes to hiring a property manager, we're going to go out and create relationships relationships with lots of different vendors in that area. I'll be honest with you, we're going to get much better deals because we're giving a higher volume of work to those vendors, and then we're going to pass that savings along to you. So even though our management company does charge a small markup, overall it's really going to even out. But what you gain as the person or landlord that hired the property manager is you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to spend the time, and the property manager is going to handle that for you. So you have full control if you're self-managing. That's full control over your decisions. If you hire a property manager, you're paying them to make decisions for you. So like I said, if it's a very expensive decision, you're going to get a phone call. If there's a big problem with the property, you're going to get a phone call. Other than that, you hired the property manager for that specific reason, that they're going to go out and do that decision making for you. So if you have the time and knowledge, self-managing can save money if you know what you're doing. But if you're short on time like me and you own multiple properties, hiring a property manager can simplify your life. So that's actually why One Realty Management became a company, because I owned rental properties and I got like just short on time. I didn't have time to go out and talk to the tenants all the time. So I opened up a property management business to handle my own rental properties. And that's why One Realty Management is an investor first property management company. So this is a cool chart that you can look through. I've got the blog article on here as well if you want to go through and take a look. And it just talks about self-managing versus hiring a property manager. It puts actual numbers on the sheet here, and then you can kind of go in and do your own little analysis on your property with your monthly rent. So self-managing rental properties, pros and cons. Of course, pros of self-managing are that you don't have to pay the 8 to 12%. So once again, pull out a calculator, figure out what that cost. Cons of self-managing is that you have to do all the tenant screening. That means you're going to have to be in compliance with the Fair Housing Act. Once again, there are some ambulance chasers out there these days when it comes to property management and Florida landlord and tenant laws. So Florida law does prohibit charging tenants for normal wear and tear on properties, such as faded paint or minor wall scuffs. That's something that you really do need to understand that's in that Florida Landlord and Tenant Act, is that when you go to make a claim on a security deposit, that you can't charge for normal wear and tear in the property. So that's just them putting the fingerprints on the wall or walking across the carpet, all those normal things. Now, if they create actual damage at the property, then you, of course, can charge for that. So a pro of hiring a property manager is that we're going to go ahead and deal with the tenants for you. We're going to deal with all of that. We know when we're making a claim on a security deposit, what is normal wear and tear. Also, we're going to document everything. We're going to go in and take pictures of everything before, actually when they move in. We're going to have them before they move in. We're going to take them when they move in, and then we're going to go back in and inspect the property as they're moving out, and everything is documented. Okay. Cons of hiring a property manager are if you hire the wrong one is probably the biggest thing. If you hire the wrong property manager and they overbill you or they cheat you, I've heard some horror stories about property managers stealing money from their clients. So definitely get some references, look at those reviews, and make sure that you hire a good property manager. So we have this comparison here. It goes through self-managing, and it talks about tenant screening and maintenance and legal compliance, financial reporting. These are all important. So a professional property manager, they're going to place the right tenant. They're going to fix the property at the right frequency. They're going to fix things when they need to be fixed. They're not going to over maintain the property or spend too much of your money. As I mentioned, staying within legal compliance, plus financially reporting. You need to make sure you're accounting for everything, having a strong profit and loss and income statements, making sure that everything is logged, and that at the end of the year, you can give all that stuff to your CPA. So maybe you're really organized and you've got manual bookkeeping going on, or maybe you have QuickBooks and you're just really good at that stuff. We're going to do all of that for you. We're going to send you a nice, pretty statement at the end of the month. And then at the end of the year, you're going to get your 1099s as well. Also, lease renewals. We'll go have those conversations with the tenants. You're going to handle all that paperwork if you do it yourself. If you hire us, those renewal fees are going to be just a couple $100. Okay. Jacksonville-specific factors are really going to tie into like neighborhoods, understanding what to charge for rent for that neighborhood, how to interact with those tenants, what condition of the property should be for that area is all going to come into play. Of course, Jacksonville-specific considerations for landlords are going to include property management costs in Jacksonville, Florida rental laws, Jacksonville market trends and challenges. That's kind of like what's going on in that area, what businesses are located in that area. Should you rent a home in that area? Can you cash flow it? Are you going to do pretty well? We like to keep up with even like what restaurants are coming in, what shopping's happening, like what's going on within the neighborhood, and how does that affect the actual monthly rent. So ultimately, the decision is up to you. Your decision boils down to 3 key factors, and I'll finish with this. How much time you actually have, what the management expertise is. Do you have experience with this? Do you want to go through the school of hard knocks? Do you want to learn how to manage property? And whether your property's net operating income can handle management fees. So I do have a net operating income calculator. I'll drop the link for you. If you need that calculator, just send me a DM and we're here to help you anytime you need us.